Joining me right now, Colorado Congresswoman, Freedom Caucus member, Budget Committee member, and Natural Resources Committee member, Lauren Boebert. Congresswoman, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Your thoughts on what we're seeing out of foreign policy in this administration. They waived the sanctions for the company operating the Nord Stream 2 pipeline so that Russia could pretty much double the amount of business it gets from Europe and get double the amount of gas into Europe. And yet he cancels the XL pipeline here in America, even as his own administration says the safest way to transport energy is underwater through pipelines.
Maria, you are exactly right. And this is what we've been saying all along. America is facing an energy crisis, and this is because of Biden and his regime's policies. And it's only going to be getting worse. He needs to be held accountable for what he's done. He has halted energy production on federal lands. He's killed the Keystone XL pipeline. And just last week, he put America last and Russia first by streamlining this Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Look, this is too big of an issue to wait for the man at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to come to his senses and actually know where he's waking up in the morning. That's why I have introduced a bill, Protecting American Energy Jobs Act, to reverse his executive orders on our energy production here in America. Congressman Chip Roy has discharged my petition so we can actually force this bill to the floor for a vote. We all know that Nancy Pelosi controls the floor schedule, and she doesn't let any Republican bills to the floor. So the people who elected us could actually have a vote. So we are forcing their hand in this issue.
Well, that's good because she's making the rules even down to the mask wearing. House Speaker Pelosi receiving backlash after videos show her walking through the crowds in the East Room without a mask. This coming just one day after she announced a $500 fine for any congressional member not wearing a mask inside the House chamber, even if they are vaccinated. Congresswoman, the CDC says vaccinated individuals can take off the mask inside, and yet Nancy Pelosi will not allow it. You know, I saw what Thomas Massie did the other day. He threw the letter she wrote him in the trash because she wants to charge $500. Do you know people who've actually been fined?
Yes, my good friend Beth Van Dyne is racking up the charges, and each and every day she has to make a decision. Do I stand on my principles or do I pay the rent? And so these are real effects that people are having from her rules, and this rule has been in place for quite some time. The fines have been there all along. Everyone is just hearing about them because we're finally ripping them off and saying, to heck with this. Nancy Pelosi, you could kiss my mask. And so there were many of us who actually stood and said, we're done with these games. You don't know more than the CDC. And if you do, maybe that means that COVID is somehow more dangerous in the House of Representatives chambers than it is in the hall right outside, because there we don't have to wear a mask and there is no fine. But she has the power to fine us in the chambers. So that's what she's doing. But of course, she could be in the White House with her buddies unmasked, and that's completely okay.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, yesterday we spoke with Congresswoman Van Dyne, and she told me about the fine that she got. It's real quick on the Hamas-Israel right now ceasefire. What do you say to President Biden, who seems to be pretty much leaning toward this anti-Semitic group in Washington? You've got people basically pushing back about the arms sales to Israel.
This has been just very disheartening from the beginning. America needs to stand with Israel. They are a sliver of hope in the Middle East, promoting democracy. They are the only democracy in the Middle East, and we need to stand with them. And it's a shame for President Biden to bow down to the jihad squad and not bless Israel.